The late afternoon sun scorched the quiet suburban street as I eased my truck into the school bus stop, my pulse quickening with the thought of seeing my daughter, Lily, after 4 brutal months on deployment. As a Navy SEAL, I'd stared down death in war zones, navigated chaos with a steady hand, but nothing cold have braced me for the nightmare unfolding before my eyes. A woman with a sleek auburn bob and oversized sunglasses stood at the bus door, her voice cutting through the humid air like a whip. "Move it! You're wasting everyone's time!" she barked, her manicured nails jabbing at the lift control. My 12-year-old Lily, born with spina bifida and bound to a wheelchair, fumbled to steady herself as the lift lurched violently under her. I froze, my breath catching, but before I could sprint forward, the world tilted into horror. Lily's wheelchair tipped, and she plummeted to the pavement with a gut-wrenching crash. Blood pooled from a jagged cut on her temple, her custom glasses shattered beside her like broken promises. Fury roared through me, primal and unstoppable, as I bolted toward her, my combat boots slamming the asphalt. "Lily!" I shouted, dropping to my knees beside her trembling body. Her small hand reached for mine, her eyes wide with fear and pain. The woman didn't flinch. She rolled her eyes, her lips curling into a sneer. "She doesn't belong on this bus if she can't keep up. My daughter has violin lessons." Her name, I'd later learn, was Cassandra Blake, the newly crowned queen of our neighborhood's homeowners association. She'd swept into our diverse, middle-class community a year ago with her venture capitalist husband, Victor, and set about molding it into their vision of sterile perfection. As I cradled Lily, her blood staining my hands, Cassandra's words seared into me. This wasn't just negligence, it was malice, cold and deliberate. And I, Lieutenant Daniel Hayes, wasn't about to let it pass. My SEAL training had drilled into me the art of restraint, the power of strategy over impulse, but seeing my daughter's blood on the ground lit a fire I could barely contain. This wasn't just about Lily. It was about every soul Cassandra had trampled in her crusade for control. The next morning, as I watched the bus pull up from our porch, a knot of dread tightened in my gut. Lily's usual driver, Mr. Jenkins, was nowhere in sight. Instead, Cassandra emerged, her posture radiating unearned authority. Our neighbor, Mrs. Garcia, who often helped Lily to the stop when I was overseas, looked rattled. "This is outrageous," Cassandra's voice rang out. "These wheelchairs grind everything to a halt. We're late because of her." I edged closer, my steps silent from years of covert ops. Mrs. Garcia tried to reason. "Lily has every right to this bus. The lift takes a minute max." Cassandra's arms crossed, her designer handbag glinting in the sunlight. "I'm doing everyone a favor by overseeing this bus today. My daughter Ava has a debate club meeting, and the other kids have lives too." I stepped into her VYEW, my voice low but steel-edged. "Ma'am, that's my daughter you're talking about." Cassandra barely glanced at me, her smirk venomous. "Then find another way. It's selfish to make 20 kids wait for one." I squared my shoulders, the muscles beneath my shirt a testament to years in high-stakes missions. "I'm Daniel Hayes, Lily's father, a Navy SEAL just back from deployment. Federal law guarantees my daughter's right to this bus." She scoffed, unfazed. "Soldier or not, rules are rules. As HOA president, I'm streamlining this neighborhood. We're already 6 minutes behind." Lily's eyes shimmered with unshed tears, and I caught Ava smirking from a bus window, a mirror of her mother's cruelty. "Lily, let's go," I said softly, guiding her wheelchair toward our van. Cassandra's voice chased us. "Wise choice. And don't skip the next HOA meeting we read discussing caps on special needs access to public spaces. Wheelchairs clog the park during peak hours." My jaw tightened, but I kept MOVYing. At home, Lily's voice broke as she whispered, "Dad, am I a burden?" I knelt beside her, my throat burning. "Lily Hayes, you're tougher than most of the men I've served with. You're never a burden. Some people just can't see what strength really is." Her faint smile, shadowed by the bandage on her temple, steeled my resolve. I called the school principal, Dr. Martinez, who was appalled. "Mrs. Blake has no jurisdiction on that bus," he said. "She must have bullied her way on when the regular monitor was out. I'll protect Lily's rights." The district's transportation chief, a former Marine named Mike Callahan, shared his fury. "The driver should have stopped her. This won't happen again." But apologies weren't enough. Cassandra's smug face as Lily lay bleeding haunted me. This was personal now, and I wasn't just fighting for my daughter, I was fighting for every family she targeted. That night, I dug into Cassandra's history. She'd snagged the HOA presidency in a low-turnout election, and complaints about her flooded the community forum. She'd banned kids from playing outside during quiet hours, dictated mailbox colors, and slapped fines on minor infractions. Victor's firm, Blake Ventures, had been snapping up foreclosed homes in our neighborhood, betting on rising property values if undesirables were driven out. The next morning, a violation notice appeared on our door: saw unapproved wheelchair ramp removed within 7 days or face fines. Saw the ramp had been approved years ago when we moved in. This was harassment, pure and vicious. I took a deep breath, channeling my training. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Rushing would only arm Cassandra. Instead, I called Dr. Martinez for contacts of other parents with disabled kids and reached out to my old squaw mate, Ryan Keller, now an ADA compliance attorney. Over the next week, I built a coalition. Cassandra wasn't just targeting Lilish, gone after elderly residents, minority families, anyone who didn't fit her upscale fantasy. Her policies always hit the vulnerable hardest. Ryan uncovered a pattern. Blake Ventures stood to gain millions if certain families sold under pressure. The following Tuesday, the HOA meeting loomed. Cassandra had scheduled it for a weekday evening, banking on low attendance from working parents. But I was ready. I arrived at the community center with Lily, who insisted on coming despite the 7 stitches on her temple. "I want to see you stop her, Dad," she said, her eyes fierce despite her pain. By 6:45, the room was packed: parents of disabled kids, neighbors stung by petty fines, even local news crews Ryan had tipped off about ADA violations. Cassandra strode in with Victor, her confidence wavering at the crowd size before she plastered on a fake smile. "What a turnout!" she cooed. "Let's discuss new guidelines." I stood, my voice cutting through the room. "Actually, we're here to address your legal actions against my daughter and others." Cassandra's face twisted. "This isn't the place for personal vendettas, Mr. Hayes." Ryan rose, calm but lethal. "I'm Ryan Keller, representing the Fair Haven Justice Coalition. We've documented 21 ADA violations under your leadership." Dr. Sofia Ramos, a local therapist, stood next. "I represent 10 families whose kids face discrimination, including last week's bus incident." Victor whispered urgently, but Cassandra waved him off. "I'm enforcing rules for the majority. We can't bend for every exception." I held up my phone and played a recording, Cassandra's voice dripping venom. "Saw wheelchairs shouldn't clutter the park during peak hours." Saw the room erupted in gasps and murmurs. Cassandra paled. "You recorded me illegally." Ryan smirked. "Florida's a one-party consent state, and that was public. No privacy expected." Victor tried to intervene. "Perhaps a misunderstanding." I cut him off. "It's not just words. Your company's been targeting homeowners with HOA fines to force sales." Mrs. Garcia handed board members folders detailing the Blake scheme. Ryan added, "We've filed complaints with HUD, the DOJ, and the Attorney General. They're very interested in your real estate ties." Cassandra's facade shattered. "What do you want?" she hissed. I wheeled Lily forward, her bandage stark under the harsh lights. "My daughter has something to say." Lily lifted her chin, touching her stitches. "I just want to ride the bus with my friends without getting hurt. I want every kid like me to live here without being called a burden or pushed around by people like you." The silence was electric, heavy with shared outrage. Mr. Patel, an elderly neighbor fined for an unapproved medical scooter, stood I move for a vote of no confidence in the HOA president and board. The motion passed in a landslide. As the meeting ended, a police officer approached. Mrs. Blake, we need to discuss the incident with Lily Hayes. We're investigating reckless endangerment and ADA violations. Cassandra's face strained of color as cameras flashed. The Blakes slipped out, Cassandra escorted by police. Dr. Ramos became interim HOA president, and within days, the Attorney General launched a probe into Blake Ventures. A month later, the Blakes' house was for sale, and they vanished from the neighborhood. The new HOA formed an accessibility committee with Lily as its youngest member. The school implemented safety protocols for disabled students, and the Blakes settled, covering Lily's medical bills and funding community upgrades. I returned to being Lily's dad, my most critical mission. Her scar might fade, but her courage and our community's resolve burned bright. Cassandra thought she could bully the vulnerable, but she underestimated a father's love and a neighborhood's strength. Some battles are fought not with weapons but with truth. And those Tories endure.